Illustrator is already right here in my desktop. It's on this little navigation bar for me because I have it saved there. For y'all, most of you are going to have to click over here on the little window, and you can type here and you can look up Illustrator. Okay, so when you do that, it's going to open it, and you can right click and then do pin to taskbar. Because I already have mine pinned, I can unpin. But for you would want to pin it to the taskbar so then it's there the next time you try to open your computer. And so you can see here where I already have a bunch of projects happening. For most of you, nothing's going to be there. It may try to have an open dialog window where it'll try to go through a tutorial or something like that. But eventually you should get to this home screen where I can go and I can click on one of these sizes if I want to. I can go over here to the home screen and click on different files there. I can have my files. I can do file new with template, file open. Here I can see my recent ones that I've done, so I can open those. But I'm just going to click on new file and see it gives me all of these options, including where I can go and label. Let's see. I'm going to label as letter art. And for this, I'm going to use inches. I have options. I can do pixels, points, inches. Those are going to be the ones that we usually use, or is either the pixels, the points, or the inches. And it will depend on which assignment I'm having you do. I'll always try to tell that to you. The orientation, so that's either the horizontal goes this way or the vertical goes this way. I can click on that and it'll change it. My number of artboards is right here. So that's like my working space. I can have multiple ones in one spot. Today, though, I'm just going to keep it simple and do my letter. I'm going to keep my color mode right here. I could change that if I want to the RGB color, or I can keep it like that. My effects here, I can keep it where it's really focused on being really detailed, or I can make it less than, totally up to me. But I'm just going to click create. And it's going to create this little board here. So I'm going to pick a word. You can use your name, you can use a school appropriate word, totally up to you. But I'm going to click on a word and see when I click, it automatically puts in this little font here. It's always Myriad Pro, and then it's always this kind of Latin gibberish look to it. All I have to do is type in like C. And then I can click on this right here. So this is my selection tool. My selection tool allows me to move things around, make them bigger. See, I can make this bigger. And so in Illustrator, our big thing is this spot over here is our toolbox, our toolbar, whatever you want to call it. But it's a toolbar, and it has different options, including our type right here. You have your selection tool, which it also says next to it the shortcut you can click on your computer or on your keyboard to be able to do. It has like your pen tool, curvature tool, and we are going to use all of these coming in the next few weeks. But just to start something super simple today, I'm going to click on this and make it big where it fills up the whole page. Okay. And then up here, we have what is the stroke key area is the fill. It's right here. And then the stroke. Right now it doesn't have stroke around it. I can click this button, the swap, and now I have basically an outline that's going to help me know where to place things. And so I'm going to click on this type tool again. Let's see. Okay. So I have a selection tool. The best thing I can do is lock this thing. So over here we have our layers. I can click on that. And then we have this button right here. It's called the toggle visibility. And it's basically makes it where I can see it and not see it. But next to that, I can lock it. So I want to lock that layer, make sure I don't mess with it. That's what I'm going to do. And then right here, I can create a new layer. And then on that layer, I'm going to put in my word. I'm choosing the word Charlotte because that was my daughter's name. And it's fun to play around with for me. So now I can go and change this so that I'm having a different font. This is just to get you guys used to playing around with fonts, get used to, the sizing and the spacing of things to make it look like a letter or a word here. So I have a lot of fonts, as you can see. I have a lot of fonts, okay? So I can click on that and create a font. I can click on this character button here, and I can change up my sizing, anything I want there. I can go over to my effects and mess around with that if I want to. I'm not going to do too much with that though for right now. Let's see. And I can do, let's see. So I can click on this one, and these are my warping options. I can do vertical, horizontal, but I can do an arc here, and see it's going to make it kind of curve. So if you have a curvy letter, I can now use that to help curve in there. Okay. I can then go, I'm going to start and do a different one. And make this one a little bit bigger. See, I can copy paste by doing Control C and then Control V. If you're on a PC, it's Control. You can make that smaller. And then I just choose a different font there. And see, if I hit down paste a whole bunch, then I just have a different one that I can go back to, and then I'm not having to type it in a whole bunch. and I want to have a different types of fonts. I want to use some that are kind of the cursive ones that just the variety of fonts that we have. You don't want to do it all swoopy, which is not the technical term for it. Hold on. So you want to make sure you have some sans serif, some serif, some script fonts, or I call them cursive, but it's script fonts is the official name. You have some decorative fonts in there, some handwritten fonts, and then that's kind of where all we're working with. And for the sake of time, just to show you how I'm going to do this. You obviously want like some small, some really big, so that it fills in your gaps. I'm using these ones with the same font. Obviously, I would want to go in and change these fonts so that they are not all the same. See how plain it looks when it's all the same font? And this is not what you want at all. But what ends up happening when you actually have all of the fonts that you want in there, and they're kind of, some of them maybe even overlapping, you end up with being able to see the C there without having that there. So when you're done and it looks all pretty and has a lot more going on than this, obviously, you would unlock this, delete this layer, which is right there, how you can delete it. And then you would have your C to be able to work with. You can choose any letter, any appropriate word. Most people just choose their name or family member's name or something like that. When it comes to getting your fonts, one way, let's see, I use dafont.com. If the school doesn't block it, then you can use dafont.com. Say if I want this one, I would just click on download. It downloads it. You open it up. And then, so it opens up like this, and then you just do install. So that's Caliston. So then I would go here. See, I have a lot of fonts, guys. Right there, Caliston. So then I have that now. So it's that easy. So if you want a bunch of different fonts that aren't just the standard ones that are in Illustrator and you want to make it your own, that's going to be some bonus points in there if you have a variety of different fonts in there. This is how you're going to be able to get those decorative fonts and some of those handwritten fonts to be able to get that. So just keep that in mind. When you're done, I'm going to do File, Save As. So if you save it to the Creative Cloud, it'll save it in your school's account. So I'm going to save it like that. And then I'm also just backup going to do Save As, and then I can save it on my computer. And right now, as I'm making this tutorial, the school is working on a different way for you guys to save your work. And so it may change on how I want you to save this. And if it does, I'll make a video, obviously, to do that, but they have not given me instructions on how that's going to work this year as of right now. So I would save this on my desktop, hit save, hit OK. And then, so once I know I have a saved project, so if something happens and I don't finish in class, or my computer dies or gets turned off on accident, then I know I have a saved project there. I'm going to do export as, and then we have our different options here. You have PNGs, JPEGs, TIFFs. Those are going to be the ones that we use for our class. Most likely it's either going to be a JPEG or a PNG. PNG is going to give you that clear background. JPEG is going to give you a white background. So today I'm going to go ahead and do the JPEG, and I'm going to export it. Click OK.